Welcome to Poke Nation. I'm Jim Gazzolo. He is the coach, athletic director, party planner, concert promoter, and now dinner guest for $60,000, Heath Schroyer. Somebody paid $60,000
Yes,
to have dinner with Will Wade.
they did. Yes, the Gatsby Gala was an unbelievable success.
That's what I heard.
Every year you try to do it. Like, how do we make it better? It was unbelievable. I have to really give a shout out to Burning Stick Creative, Jacob and Jimmy Richard. They were unbelievable. They do an unbelievable job. The committee: Tiffany Goff, Amy Kennedy, Deborah, Pam Magoo, Todd Butt. Like, it was a team effort, but Jimmy and Jacob really drove it, and it was a great night. It was a great venue, and yes, the last auction item we had was an intimate dinner with Will Wade at John Condos' house by a private chef, and it went for $60,000.
Pretty good. You get to go to this dinner.
I'll
So
probably.
you sell this whole
Here we go.
event
Here we go. Yep.
just so you can get a free meal.
Yes.
Nice.
Crazy, huh?
That is crazy. The 60,000 that shocked me. I was like, nah, nobody paid that, but okay. Somebody wants. What was the total auction? Do you have a number?
Just the auction itself was 160,
Yeah.
and then we grossed. I want to look at the numbers again, but I think we grossed well over $300,000. Gross. Now it obviously took a lot to money to put on the event. Yeah. I made every decision to make it as first class as possible. It's really funny, but I had 10 people on a waiting list to buy tables that could not buy. We probably need to look at having a bigger venue. It really is. I mean, you laugh at me, but
I do laugh at you.
It has turned into literally the event and the party of the year. And
No,
as soon as I went back to my room, the night of, I literally started making a list of things that we can enhance and make it better for the following year, because trust me on this, Gatsby 3.0 is going to be even better.
And also during the weekend, this came to my attention.
Uh-oh.
Did you really sell the Cowboy Club out or rent it out for a funeral reception?
No.
Okay.
No.
Rumors are flying out
Oh,
there.
my goodness, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I wouldn't have put it past you. I wouldn't have put it past you. So, Gatsby's now over with, and it starts up again for next year. Mm-hmm. When you say sites, how big do you think it can get? Because I want to get into that and what you've sold also here, the Premium Club and courtside seats for the first time.
Yes.
Courtside seats, you have 30, you're down to 4?
Right. So they just went on sale midweek last week. And 26 of them are already sold. 4 of them have not been sold yet, but are committed, but the check's not there yet. So there's 4 of those left, and then all of the Platinum Club, there's only 4 tickets left that from new sales that can be bought. Renewal date is by May 1st. But 100%, all the Platinum Club and all the premium seating will be sold out this year, which will be the first time in the history of the school.
Yeah.
And the courtside, again, it's 30. There's only 30. We're selling those for $2,000 a pop, and again, we have 26 of them sold.
And those are season tickets. Now,
100%.
are they season tickets for also all women's games if
Yes.
there's not a men's game?
Correct.
Men's game?
Yes, they go for men and women. So it's a
Okay.
great deal. And the other thing it allows them to do is you get the first right of refusal for those seats at the conference tournament.
Conference tournament. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Man can sell dead fish.
No, stop.
But other than that, your Gatsby.
Yep.
I know you went out and got cigars at the last minute.
did.
Somebody had to run out and get
Cutters.
cigar cutters.
Yes, we forgot. I'm not a big cigar smoker, so I got cigars donated by the Cigar Club, which is phenomenal. So we had 12 kickers dressed in 20s flapper dresses, and they, the old cigarette girls. So they were walking around and handing out cigars, and we had little matches with the Gatsby and obviously the math QR code on the back to join math, and it was a great people who went. They'll tell you that it was a it was a first class event, and it will only get better, I promise you, because I already have some ideas for next year.
Well, how can you make it any bigger if it's prom for plus 40s, I was told.
Yeah, it's a good point. It is a good point.
It's a prom every year for plus the 40 crowd.
It really is. It's a bigger, better Mardi Gras ball without all the stuff.
All this goes to math.
100% goes to math, and we talked about this before, but consolidating our fundraising efforts. We have too many clubs. We're in a process now of consolidating all those, and the math is what can and will move this department forward.
When we come back on Poke Nation, we'll have Whitney Tate, 10-2 senior pitcher for the McNeese softball team, going to tell us how she gets it done and the future of this program right after this on Poke Nation.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. It is an honor to have the great Whitney Tate. How are you?
Good. How are you? Hey. Thank you for having me.
Oh, for sure. All right. So listen, you are killing it.
Thank you.
You are killing it personally. Softball team is rolling. First, welcome to Poke Nation.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's a good thing to be here.
And I apologize for having to sit by this guy and get all the questions from the Grinch over here. Oh. But anyway, so let's jump right into it, Whit. What has been the key so far for your season you guys are obviously playing really well. What's been the key?
Well, I think it's interesting because I've been a part of teams that have played good until this far and teams that have had struggled this far into the season. And so I think just focusing on every day and being our best right now. It's a work in progress every day, and our team is just so close this year, and it's been fun just kind of living in the moment every day. And I think that's the difference in, how it's fun to be there every day.
Right. So what is, when you talk about, your team being close, and I coached a long time, and the locker room, and I've always felt like is so organic, and if that is really good, you have a really good chance.
Right.
What has been the key to success in the locker room this year? Like, why is the locker room, or why do you guys think that you're closer this year than you have been maybe in the past?
I think we brought in a lot of big personalities and people who are ready to work hard. Of course, there's always a learning curve in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
As expected. But I think our leadership has been crucial this year, especially, Coach James preaches to us, leadership. It's got to be from inside. And I think handling things in the locker room has really made us closer. It's held us all accountable, that kind of thing. So it's been good. We've learned a lot from each other, what to do and what not to do.
Right. Oh, for sure.
It's been awesome. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now you're 10-2 this year. Team's 22-10. But you are a senior, but you have another year left, don't you?
Right.
Are you going to come back? Do you want to come back, or have you not decided yet?
I haven't decided yet. I'm taking it one day at a time, just enjoying right now, as a senior. Well, the fourth year, whatever I am now.
Yeah.
I think you can play until you're 30, basically, in college
right?
nowadays.
I could, maybe. But, I'm just kind of taking it day by day, enjoying where I'm at.
Is there kind of a sense of you guys want to finish what started last year in the regional? Is that a big push for you guys?
Yeah, it always is. We have a bigger goal in mind, and just taking this program to new things and kind of just carrying on that tradition, I think is important to us.
So what is obviously, I was at the regional last year. We beat Notre Dame twice, and it was.
How much did you pitch in that series?
I didn't pitch any. I didn't pitch any. But I want to talk about this. Last year, and this is one of the really, and I mean this, was really remarkable. Is you came off of a surgery, and it seemed like you never missed a beat. Like everyone was like, is Whit going to be okay? Is she going to be able to go around? And talk about the surgery and talk about your recovery and what it took for you to get back. I mean, that's not an easy surgery, an easy procedure that you had to go through.
Well, what was so funny is that like the season before that, I was a struggle because I was just hurting so much, and I was like, this is normal. Everybody's a little sore every day, and they were like,
Tell Pope Nation though what it was.
So I tore my hip labrum and I had a cam impingement in my hip, and basically had good doctors, thankful for those.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I had surgery July 13th, and I got released. It's supposed to be a year-long process.
Right.
And I was like, well, I have season, so we're going to speed this up. I don't have a year to wait. Therapy was rough.
Yeah.
But I got released in December, which was like kind of crazy to think about. And so I think in the beginning I was so frustrated with myself and just not being where I wanted to be at the time, you know?
Sure.
I mean, all athletes are like that.
Right.
It's tough, and like there's days that you just like think I'm not going to be able to do it.
Yep.
And me and Coach James had a talk, and I was so mad after practice one day, and I was like, I don't know why I had to have the surgery. And he was like, well, so you can be better later. And he's like, just be patient with yourself and give yourself time and just keep working and be patient. And I'm like, I'm just so not
You're
a
not
patient person.
Right.
That's the hardest part.
Right.
Did you ever think about sitting out last year?
No, that
No,
just
never
wasn't
came
an option
across?
for me. No.
I'm telling
yeah.
you though, and I said this at the regional. I was sitting next to Dr. Roos and Dr. Brickell, and I made this point. The surgery and the rehab, because I knew it was a year, and you came back so quick, and you played and pitched so well that I said you're the toughest athlete within this athletic department. I said that because there's very few athletes, forget about gender, that could go through a surgery that you had, go through the rehab that you had, and be back to the level when everyone else it goes to a year, and you did it in half that time. You're literally you are the toughest athlete in this department.
Thanks. Doctors would usually call me hard-headed, but
That's part of it too.
yeah. So, yeah. I mean, there were struggles, of course, during season, and I wasn't where I wanted to be, but kind of all worked out in the end. So,
It's awesome.
yeah.
When we come back with Whitney, we'll talk about this season in particular and the Southland Conference right after this on Poke Nation. We're back with Whitney Tate, senior, 10-2 on the year, ace of the McNeese State softball team, and you guys are 6-0 in the conference. Can't get any better than that. Off to a great start.
Thank you.
How important was it to get off to that start? Because you guys have a target on your back because you're hosting the tournament thanks to this guy. And you've got all these people that are looking at you guys and saying you're now the, obviously, front runners, but you're the standard bearers for the league. How important was it to go off 6-0?
You know, I think in conference especially, it's a new season, and every game matters, you know. And so we've just put so much emphasis on one game at a time, and like you win 2 games, but so what? Like you can't think about that the last game. I mean, you saw it last weekend. We run ruled twice, and then it was a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
And so it's especially in conference, just keeping the focus is just it's completely different than playing a midweek or so, you know.
But you guys midweeks aren't your normal midweeks.
Right.
Right.
You guys go out and
Yes.
play everybody.
Yes.
What's it like to have not only a conference weekend, but then you go out and play at number 10 LSU or somebody on the week?
Well, I think it's just an awesome opportunity, too, just to kind of see, I mean, because that's who you end up playing in postseason. And so the goal is to beat those teams in postseason. And so I think our midweeks are really, it's a grind during the week, and it's good for us, though.
So when you decided, let's go back, okay? Talk about your high school career. Your dad was very, very instrumental in your development as a player. And your parents are wonderful people. Talk about the relationship that you have with your parents, and in particular your dad, as far as softball goes, and what he taught you, and when did you start playing, and all those type of things.
So where I grew up, they didn't have softball around Monroe. We grew up around Monroe, and then so I played baseball for the first couple years, and they were like, we moved to Ville Platte and started playing softball, and of course that was whenever Alabama LSU softball was like
Rolling.
the helm of
Yeah,
all
for sure.
sports, and so I just was like, I want to pitch. Like I don't care sign me up for lessons. I'll pitch every day. And so they took me out to a field. They're like, throw it into that fence. Well, I threw it over the fence. And somehow they were like, you're going to be a good pitcher. And so, I started off pitching. My dad's been my coach since I was 6 or so. And it's been cool because it's like, it's been good and bad because, you know.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask that.
And I'm just so grateful that he's been able to see me through, like, everything. And even in this stage of life, just being there for me. I mean, him and my mom are, of course, they're always my biggest fans.
For sure.
But they're also, like, my toughest critics, too. And just having him is, like, such a good resource. And he's just been unreal. I just can't imagine doing it without him, you know?
Well, you know, when athletes have the success that you're having, and I think you'll be able to go and play professionally whenever that time comes. I really believe that. But there's an inner drive that all the great ones have. And sometimes if you don't have the environment around you, that inner drive kind of gets dampened. But the inner drive is there, and you've had an unbelievable upbringing. What's next for you? What is, like, I know you talked earlier about living in the moment. So we want to win the Southland. We want to go win the so talk about what that locker room is like and what you guys are talking about these days.
What we're talking about, it's a good one.
On TV.
On TV.
We know everything you're talking about.
Just, you know, since I was little, my parents have always, like, encouraged me to go and dream big. And, like, that's been a big focus, and just being confident. And so when I was little, I was like, I want to play in the Olympics. And so that's been, like, a thing that, you know, you grow up and you see such unbelievable people play in, and just to play against them too, you know? I mean, it's just been so cool. And I think in the locker room we talk about just playing for something that's bigger than us too.
It's awesome.
And I mean, just playing for the little girl who we all dreamed of become, like, little girls who have big dreams, you know, and that's all of us essentially.
Do you ever put yourself on the mound last inning of the regional and think about what that would be like to get that last out and win a regional?
I mean, we all dream about it, but we're ready to get it done.
And does it matter to you guys? I know the dream was always they could one day host a regional, but do you worry about where you go? Do you want to go to, like, an LSU? Do you think about where you want to go to play in the regional?
Not yet. I think that wherever we go, we're kind of ready for it though, and winning that and going to a super and going to a World Series hopefully.
You guys think?
Well, I'll tell you this: that second win. You know, that when we went to Chicago last year, it was so cold. First of all,
it was cold.
I don't even know how anyone lives there personally.
No.
It was beautiful May. What are you talking about?
I mean, it was so cold.
Thank God we packed our long sleeves.
You live for the pizza. I've told you that. You live for
We
the
did
pizza.
have pizza while we were there.
But I will tell you, having the delay and being at the ballpark all day, and I'll never forget, we asked Coach, like, how the girls going to be, and he said, we trained for this. Don't worry about it. They're going to be great. Talk about that for a second. I know we're closing up this one, but talk about that mentality that you guys have.
So during that day, we were just like, are we going to play? When are we going to play? So we got to the field at like 9 or 10 that morning, and we didn't start our game till 7 or 8 that night. And we literally sat in the locker room and played games the whole time.
Right.
And just like we didn't always understand like what was going on. Or like, can we just go like eat or something? But we just had so much fun in the locker room. And I think that's like keeping the energy up and being stuck in a locker room with 30 girls is it's something. But it was so much fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, you represent this department, this university, and this community with the utmost class. You are a role model, and I appreciate everything that you've done and the young lady that you are. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate, I wouldn't be who I am without this university, so it's been a blessing for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll get Coach's final thoughts after this on Poke Nation. I'm telling you, 10-2, 1.61 ERA, leading the program. That's a heck of a program they got going.
I tell you what, they're really good, and she is she's awesome. She's an awesome young lady, great parents, and what she's done and for this program, it really is remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely have so much respect for her, and it is true. She's the toughest athlete, I truly believe, in this department. I mean, she's a beast.
All right, how's your bracket?
Completely broke, but I love it.
Okay, and here's my point is,
Yep,
Florida Atlantic,
100%.
is that you in a couple years?
You know what? It's funny because Coach Wade and I were texting a little bit during yesterday evening, and because of the way of the portal and NIL and all those things, I said this last week. I think basketball right now, college basketball, is the funnest and healthiest it's ever been.
It's the strangest.
Yeah, but I mean, think about, like, you have 3 teams that have never been to the Final Four that are in there. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's awesome. And I truly believe that Florida Atlantic has shown, because San Diego State is not a mid-major, but Florida Atlantic has shown that, you know what, if you get the right team and you have the right coach, and with the new world that we live in, anything can happen, and why not us?
Well, that's kind of the thing is, it can happen.
Absolutely.
Like never before because of the portal, because the portal not only gives, but it takes away
That's right.
from the big schools. I want to see what the TV numbers are and if people buy into this, but you have no number 1 seeds, no number 2 seeds, no number 3 seeds. UConn's a 4 seed, they're going.
That's right.
That is, to me, exciting and strange because I don't know what's going on. I don't know who to root for. I don't know who to pick.
Well, you know, you also have this whole thing now. You have these COVID seniors.
Yeah.
And it's so people are, some obviously places are older, like you mentioned it with Whit. She has another year because of COVID. So there's just but the basketball in particular, there's so many good players.
Yeah.
And if you get the right combination, and it's like I said before, when I went out to hire the next coach, the ability to manage a roster year to year, and the ability to not manipulate but manage the portal are 2 of the biggest things I was looking for. Because if we want, like, look, we want to be one of those teams that go to the NCAA tournament, win a couple games, maybe make a run. I mean, why not us? Well, you're not going to be able to do that at McNeese if you can't manage a roster every year and you can't manage the portal. It can't happen. If you try to play a traditional game in a non-traditional world, I just don't think it works.
Well, you call Florida Atlantic a mid-major, but they're in Conference USA, and they're moving up.
That's right.
San Diego State gonna move up now. We know it's whether the Big 12 or the Pac-12.
Right.
These are opportunities schools are making to state their case on why they should move up.
For sure.
And that's what you want to do, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. And look, I'll tell you this. I was in the Mountain West for a majority of my career. What Steve Fisher and Brian Dutcher has done at San Diego State is absolutely remarkable. And honestly, their first year at San Diego State, I was at BYU, I think it was 97, and they were awful. I mean, they were awful. They had no arena. It was so bad. But they kept building it, and they've done it the right way. They know how to get players. They understand, what they are, how to play. Like, they've done a phenomenal job, and they should be a blueprint for everyone, especially at that level.
No, because you look at I was out in California when they came in.
Yep.
Since then, they were playing downtown in a beat-up arena.
Right.
They now have an on-campus arena. They now have basically used basketball as kind of their blueprint to a football arena or a football stadium on campus.
That's right.
Which now is probably going to be too small as they move up. But that's the thing is, they've shown a way of doing it smartly and doing it the right way.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, they knew, to your point, they knew what they were.
Yeah.
And they embraced it, and in basketball was their calling card, and that has taken everyone else to the next level. And you got to know who you are and what you are.
Changed the whole university.
Absolutely.
And they changed it through basketball, which is usually it's by football.
Absolutely.
They've changed it through basketball.
They did.
Thank you for joining us on Polk Nation. Don't forget to watch Sound Off 60 every Tuesday and Thursday. We're on Wednesday, Friday, and the Coaches Show on radio. We'll see you next week.